Hello, welcome to the new series. I am Julius Cartwright, and this is the Equity Movement.
I can't stop.
Hello and welcome to the Equity Movement Show. I'm your host, Bridget Therese, and today I talk about Women's Inflection Point. It's an amazing program for women, empowering women around the world. You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome back to Equity Movement Show. I am your host, Bridget Therese, and I have my next guest here. Please welcome Renee Wilson. She is the founder of Women's Inflection Point. Thank you for being here, Renee.
Absolutely, absolutely. Excited to be here.
It's so nice to have you on. I want to hear all about Women's Inflection Point. Can you tell us how it started?
So I think I typically don't acknowledge this, but I think the truth of the matter is it's in my just in the legacy coming from my grandmother and my mom, both in ministry, serving. So as a young girl, I thought, why do they always have to do stuff for other people? When you're an only child, you're a little bit selfish sometimes. But I learned to share them, and as I got older, I started to realize that there's something very fulfilling about doing something for other people. So that's really the history of the origin. I've been fighting it for a long time. Swore I would never be like my mother and grandmother, but the older I get, the more I'm becoming more and more and more like them. So here I am, finding myself doing the exact same thing and really enjoying figuring out how to be different in some way in the way that I impact women, and the result of what comes out of women coming back to me later on and saying the time that I spent with you or the time that I was involved in what you did, it made a tremendous difference, and here's how, and then them sharing that with other women.
Wow.
So that's the goal.
That's the goal. Tell us a little bit more about Women's Inflection Point in the program, or what is it all about? Sure.
So Women Inflection Point is a nonprofit, result-driven entity, and is established to organically help women create a success path to wealth building, primarily. And the way we do that is I came up with a concept, because women don't take enough time for themselves, to spend about 24 hours, and I entitled it a staycation. So you disconnect for 24 hours on a Friday afternoon, you check into the Wyndham Hotel, currently that's where we are, and my job is to design 24 hours of everything that women need. You know, we're involved in taking care of so many people and so many things, and taking care of the bills and taking care of the family, and usually not taking care of ourselves. So one of the priorities, I identified Maslow's hierarchy of basic needs. And so one is the physiology, which is just basic eating, sleeping, and taking care of yourself. So I coined that the human wellness, because there are dimensions of human wellness that we are not aware of and should be. It's not just the occupational wellness. Most of us do that very well, but there's also mental, emotional, spiritual. And so I spend a lot of time making sure that our presenters are able to really help women become more aware of all the other areas and how to incorporate that into their lives.
Join the movement. Engage, empower, educate. Join the movement. Equity Movement 24/7.com.
The second track that we have is safety on the Maslow's pyramid. And safety I connect to real estate and the wellness, the financial piece and your financial options and how women can build wealth, because once you have children or just family, you want to be able to build a legacy for those that are coming behind you. And so we have a big focus, and I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more on how we help women do that. And then I wrap it up by saying, if you are not taking care of yourself in the long term, it's going to have a great impact. And if you don't have finance to just pay rent and have a roof over your head, excuse me, you are not going to be able to reach your full potential. So the third tier is self-actualization. So there are quite a few presentations, and I have quite a few coaches on the platform that work with women to help them identify how to reach their full potential. And then to top it off, we work with the sociology departments at Texas A&M and at Rice University. And so they work with our coaches and counselors and presenters on the way that they help them to identify what their needs are. And we have created a survey that helps you identify what you should do when you're at the conference to maximize your time with us to get the best benefit. So that part I'm really, really excited about.
That is really exciting. It's very unique too. You don't hear often a scientific way to decide where you should go or where you should spend your time, because I think we get stuck in our heads where we're like, this is what I need, or this is what I think I need, or what I want. But
Absolutely.
having somebody kind of be like, no, I think you should actually go down this track or listen to this part. One of the things you kind of mentioned, and you kind of opened with it, was women are so responsible for like the bills and the kids and the jobs, and there's just so many aspects that go into it that a lot of women have guilt around taking time away from that.
Very much so.
How do you address that?
So I strategically entitled, it's the signature event of Women's Inflection Point, and so I entitled it, It's Me Time. But the funny
Everybody
part,
understands that, right?
the minute I say it's me time, women start to shake their head.
Exactly.
They immediately know, no, I do not get enough of it's me time. It's a little tricky because when you get there, it's not, some people say, oh, so I'm just going to get to sit by a pool, or is it a retreat? Am I going to get to relax? And there's a part of that in there, but it's really a day of focusing on all the things you need. That's the reason the sociology department is involved, because a lot of times the study of the mind, we don't really know what it is that we want or why we feel the way we feel, because there's so many things going on, and that's where depression sometimes set in with mental health. So the idea is to get the sociology professors involved, that they create the survey, so as you check in and you take the survey, we're able to tell you some things that you may not even know, and then we've planned to have presenters there that are able to help you identify and feel better. I travel a lot and I go to a lot of events, so a lot of times I'll read the description of a particular session. I get in and it's not exactly what I was hoping to get out of it, or it's not that it's not a good presentation, it may not meet my needs at the time.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to be very deliberate in establishing and developing this, that I could figure out a way, as you said, scientifically, and using data and the study of who we are and why we think the way that we do and why we do some of the things that we do, which is usually take care of everybody else first before we take care of ourselves, and then have the survey help you along. It's not required that you go to what the survey suggests, but we do believe if you follow our lightly nudge, you'll find that the conference will be far more beneficial for you that way.
So one of the things that you mentioned was also building a legacy and having that finance. I've heard of women's retreats, and a lot of them focus on rejuvenation and feeling better and kind of having that relaxing spa time, which I'm 100% for. But not a lot of women are focusing on finances, building real estate or wealth. Why is that so important to you?
I think in order to reach your full potential and fully enjoy the life that you were created to have, and a lot of us don't quite get there, I thought it was really important I started looking, I was going to say how old I was, but they said a woman shouldn't tell her age. But as I've gotten older, as I reflect back on some of the decisions that I made, it would have been very helpful to have information more readily available. So I think having a community that I can establish a safe place where women can come that's very compassionate and loving, and women genuinely care about and don't mind sharing, encouraging, and mentoring is the type of community that I want. But I think in order to really reach your full potential, you have to have equity built in order to do the things that you enjoy doing. And you also want to leave something for someone else.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to do all the wonderful things that you'd like to do, but it's also very important to leave a legacy for the folks that are behind you so they don't have to start from ground zero all over again, particularly if you're a mom and you have children.
Right.
That becomes very important. And as you get older, usually you need more money to do more things. So building that financial platform early helps you live the life that you want over time, because you've got to plan for over time, because the years do come and they come very quickly. I can tell you that personally.
Yeah.
So you want to be in a position where, and I've seen folks, I used to wonder when I was younger, at Walmart and the why. It's like, I don't want to be 70 at Walmart.
Yeah.
And not that there's anything wrong with that, because there are some people who retire and they just don't want to sit at home and they choose to do that. I'd rather choose to than have to.
Exactly.
And so we're hoping that the platform, which incorporates relaxation as well, but we want to be able to help you identify all of the areas to build organically so that you can have the lifestyle that you want and be healthy and have the finances you need in order to do the things that you enjoy. I just think that's so important.
We are going to dive into more of the aspects of her foundation and the different tracks she has in her program when we come back. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere.
Coming soon, Equity Movement Radio Show, live in studio, your #1 source for financial resources. EquityMovement247.com.
Welcome back to the Equity Movement Show. I am here with my guest, Renee Wilson, and we're talking all about Women's Inflection Point. And we just talked a little bit about the event coming up, but I want to dive more in depth because this is so interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect?
Absolutely, and I'm so excited about it. So this has been the most fun part, is the planning of what I want people to get. So on Friday, it's really important about relationship building. I think that sometimes you are one person away from changing the whole trajectory of your future. And so I've designed it in a way, as opposed to having people come in and just sit. So I want you to walk in, get your food and your drinks, and then we start with what I call the Bingo Connect game. And so you have to get around the room. We have amazing prizes, and you have to get the bingo, you end up meeting everyone in the room.
Wow.
And so we make sure that everybody gets to know one another. And then there's a couple surprises that are where the relaxation comes in. And so one of the pieces in developing it, I started to realize that there had been a man in my life from birth and probably will be until I'm no longer here. And so I thought it was important to involve men in the conversation.
Okay.
So there is a track or a conference that's going on simultaneously to Women Inflection Point at the same time. But on Friday night, we get together jointly.
Yeah.
And there's some focuses on, I have an attorney that does mediation. So she's going to come and give us some really good pointers on relationships, and we're not going to dig and dive so much into the love relationships, but it will be very general so no one feels uncomfortable, but you'll get some really, really good pointers, and the men will get some really, really good pointers. So that'll be a joint session that I'm excited about. And then we'll kick the men out, and we'll have our self-care, which is going to be very relaxing, and that I'm not going to tell too much about, because you've got to be there in order to enjoy, but it's a great surprise. And then on Saturday, you have the rest of the night to do whatever you want. Some people meet and connect, business connections, connections, personal connections, or you can just do your own me time. Some ladies have brought their significant others or their husbands, and then they come back together and share what they learned in their empowerment sessions individually, which also enhances their relationship as well. So that's another piece that we're excited about. Or you could go to your room and take some candles and just have a really nice quiet time all by yourself and get prepared for Saturday. So Saturday is the day that you really spend the time following your survey recommendations and hearing from our speakers. And I am so excited that you are one of those people.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit and share with the viewers what you're going to be sharing with us.
Well, thank you, and I'm so honored and excited to be a part of your event. I am going to be on the wellness track, and I will be sharing some of my personal story and talking about how you can turn losses into wins. And
awesome.
I'm also hosting a women's empowerment show, so it kind of all goes hand in hand on Thursdays.
Absolutely.
I interview some amazing women from around the world. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
so it's exciting.
I've listened to one, but I've got to listen to a few
They pile
more.
up, yeah.
Absolutely. So excited. So there will be more speakers like yourself in the 3 tracks I talked about earlier. The last piece that I'm really excited about that's kind of new that we've been working on and we're going to launch at the first event, and there will be more throughout the year that I'm working on the
That's
platform.
exciting, yeah.
But I want to be able to have more touch points so that women, whether you can make it or not, will have ongoing ways to connect to us and get the information. So one of the things we've done, we've partnered with the Equity Movement,
Okay.
which is what this show is all about.
Yes.
And we're able to leverage the resources. There are 12 resources and categories about building wealth, whether it's stocks, credit, budget, investments, going from home ownership to investing, college information. There's just a wealth of information there. And so we're partnering with the Equity Movement, and the women with Women Inflection Point will have access to those tools and resources as well. So we're very, very excited about the launch of that program. So Equity Movement is just blowing up and taking off in all sorts of areas as this show is. So we're really, really excited about that. And so that's going to be one of the highlights that I'm looking forward to launching. And then we'll have ongoing touch points for the women throughout the year. And then we'll get together 3 times a year, but then you'll be able to connect with us on the website as well. And that website address is www.womeninflectionpoint.org, and that's women without an S. So it's www.womeninflection.org.
Gutter Properties. We'll buy your house as is. Call or visit www.gutterproperties.com for your cash offer today. Gutter Properties. Drop the house.
We are so excited to partner with you guys and see how we can grow not only Women's Inflection Point, but together with Equity Movement and really make some powerful changes, not only in women's life, but men's life and their family's life.
Absolutely.
And really help them to focus on leaving that legacy.
And that's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. So come be a part of the community. It's not another one like it.
I want to thank you so much for being here, and that'll do it, you guys. This is another episode of the Equity Movement Show. I want to thank both Olga and Renee for being here and sharing their wealth of knowledge with all of us and you. If you want more information on them, you can visit our website at theequitymovement247.com, as well as be sure to catch us on all of the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We are out there putting out valuable content for you guys, so be sure to follow, and we'll see you again next time.
Stop.